Hey, DisCatMatt here with.
JLav,
Tonight we
and
thought that we'd mix it up a little bit.
DisCat decided he wanted to observe me do some Magic the Gathering tonight. So the plan, it looks like we're going to do a draft on Magic Arena. We're drafting the current set, Murders at Karlov Manor, and I'll kind of talk through my picks and how I got to where my conclusion and why I took what I did. Be interesting to try out. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Anything you want to know about the set, DisCat, before we get started?
Yeah. Let's see. We got a few different new mechanics here. It looks like.
Yep. So one big thing
Wow.
about this set is there's detectives, and they kind of all work. There's cards that work together for detectives, and then one of the big keys to the set is the disguised creatures. So you can play them face down and then turn them face up to have an effect, and you have to cast it pretty much again. So you pay 3 mana to put them face down and then flip them over. They're kind of the big keys to the set. And then there's some other synergies like artifacts and getting clues to draw more cards and collecting evidence from your graveyard, because it's a murder mystery set. You collect evidence to do things. So lots of different interesting interactions in this set. It is a pretty fast one, so you want to make sure you're going fast in the game. So we could see how it goes.
Excellent.
Currently, you'll see that I'm at platinum level right now. Haven't drafted for a while, so we'll see if I can get that up to diamond tonight.
Ooh, that should be fun. Yeah.
Maybe. All right, well, here we go. So, for the viewers who are not familiar with Magic the Gathering, when we're drafting, we're opening up a pack of unseen cards and just taking one at a time and then passing it to the neighbor to our left. And at the end, we're building a deck that's 40 cards minimum, with the cards that we've drafted. So then we will try to use those to make a good deck. And then the cool thing about a Magic Arena is you get to just play right away. You can play against anybody. You're not playing against the people in your draft. So if I don't finish it, I could always come back to it. I'm probably gonna finish it tonight, but in the future, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's quite amazing actually watching it before, because what I always found really cool is that you've gotten good enough where you can kind of assume what your opponent's like what colors they're picking and everything. So
Oh yeah.
I always thought that was
Alright.
awesome.
So let's make this a little bigger and see what we've got. So our rare in the pack is an Assassin's Trophy, which is a pretty good card. It is 2 different colors, green and black, so it's harder to kind of build your deck right away with a 2-color card like that. But it's instant speed, so you can play it whenever and destroy any permanent. Then they get a basic land. It's a pretty good card. I try not to stick into 2 colors right away. Like, especially for this as a spot thing to kill your opponent's thing, because there's like a single color card that kind of does similar things right here. This pack is, overall, I'd say it's pretty weak. White is the best color in this set, so I kind of try and lean towards that, just because it's got the best aggressive creatures and they got this detective synergies, most of them. I'm gonna lean to take the Market Watch Phantom, because it's a cheap creature, just 2 mana. It's a detective, and when you play another power 2 or less creature, it's flying, so you can kind of fly in there.
Oh, that's
now, this is a strong pack compared to the last one. So we've got a powerful rare in the Axebane Ferox, a 4/4 Death Touch Haste creature.
Wow.
For green. And then there's a red removal spell. It's a case, which if you can solve the case by having 3 sources deal damage, and you get kind of some more value afterwards. Inside Source is a powerful common for white. Makes a 2/2 and a 1/1. And it pumps detectives, so it's got the detective synergy.
Plus, with the Marker Watch Phantom, will they all be able to fly?
The Marker Watch Phantom would fly when I play the source, inside
very
source,
cool.
yeah. Just for the turn, though.
Okay.
Dog Walker's pretty solid. I only have a couple seconds left. I'm probably just going to take the powerful rare.
Yeah.
Because it's, I mean, that's pretty powerful. And one thing a lot of newer drafters do is they kind of force themselves into taking what their first pick is. When you get more experienced in it, I can abandon this Market Watch Phantom if I don't think it's available, if I don't think that color's ready available. Like, there's only one white card in this pack, so the person on my right could have been taking it. But look, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 green cards, so green might be a little bit more available. And these green cards are pretty good. Like, this is one of the green commons you want to get if you're playing green, because it taps for mana.
Oh, nice.
So it can accelerate me. So I could play this on the second turn, and then in the third turn I could get to play like my big Ferox or something and get it out there faster. So probably going to stick with the green cards. I'm a big fan of Fanatical Strength, but people usually pass this card, so I'll probably get them later.
That's
but
pretty
I'm going
good.
to take the Tunnel Tipster. And now we got another Tunnel Tipster here, which is good, but there's also this Case of the Trampled Garden, which is very good as well. So if you have a total of 8 power with the creatures, you solve the case. So then every turn after that, you get a +1 counter on an attacking creature and give it trample. So this is kind of a tough pick between these two. I'm kind of just stick to green right now. There's a couple of decent black cards here too, but I'm gonna stick with the green. I think I'm gonna go with the Case of the Trampled Garden because I haven't really played it that much, and I think it's really good. So. Okay, wow. Oh, interesting. So it looks like red is available too. I could take, like, this is a good, just cheap destroy or kill a creature spell. We've got the Case of the Burning Mass, which we saw before. There's the Quake Mole, which is a mythic rare. When it becomes blocked, I untap it, and then I get another attack phase. It's interesting. It looks really flashy, but I actually think one of like a Galvanize is a better card. But I've never played with this card before, so
he looks fun.
I'm gonna take the big mole. All right, so this is one of the interesting things in this this set, in this format. So cards like this Gadget Technician, I'm not playing blue, but I can disguise it, so I can pay 3 mana to put it face down, and then I can flip it over with the disguise cost, which is just the 2 red mana, and then I'll get the bonus for it.
Oh, wow.
So I can play this by playing red or blue, not having to play red and blue. Which is interesting, but I think I'm going to go with the Fanatical Strength. Get +3/+3 and trample. Mostly because if I do that with this mole, it's going to just be devastating.
Or the Ferox.
Or the Ferox.
The mole, yeah, definitely.
Interesting. So we got some black cards still here, like the Slimy Dual Leech is pretty good. I'm leaning towards taking that. This is another one of those red things I could play. I could play this. Not a big fan of the Undercover Crocodile, although it's a fun name to say.
Yeah.
This is one of the detective cards. So I'm going to take the Dual Leech just to hedge my bets. Maybe black is a color I'm going to play.
Yeah.
I don't really like this guy in this type of deck. I'm not playing the Artifact Synergy deck with that guy. Probably just going to take this Cerebral Confiscation. Just take the green card. So one thing when you're doing this, if I'm just taking the green cards, it makes it so in the next pack, I'm going to have the packs coming the other way. So the person I'm passing to, if they don't have any green cards, they're going to be more likely to pass me green cards.
Okay.
So I'm going to just take this small little 2 mana 2/1 goblin. It's an early play, something I can play pretty quick. So as I was saying about before, these Fanatical Strings go pretty late, and they can be just devastating. So I'm just gonna take that. I could play this Rebel Belt Maverick.
Oh.
So Surveil 2 lets me look at the top 2 cards of my deck, and I can put any of them in my graveyard. and it has a little value later on in the game. So it's just a cheap 1 mana thing.
Yeah, not bad.
I'll take this goblin
Goblins.
here. It helps you play your face down cards quicker, which the combination of red and green is playing the face down cards. So
Yeah.
actually, this I just opened
Ferox.
another Axebane Ferox. So now I've got 2 of those, so that's pretty awesome. And one of the neat synergies with Death Touch, because this guy's got Death Touch, so when it does damage to something, it automatically kills it. But if the creature has Death Touch and Trample, which these Fanatical Strings give, it just does 1 damage to the creature, then the rest go over the creature and hit the player that you're attacking.
Oh, now that's
so
awesome.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just no way I'm not taking that.
It makes a lot of sense too, actually.
Alright, so this pack. Looking for some more cheap cards on interaction, like Shock is just a perfectly good card. 1 mana, deal 2 damage to something. Could also look at the push-pull, but not playing black or white. I'd just be able to play the right side. There's no green cards in this pack, really, except for this Crowd Control Warden, Disguise guy. I'm just going to take the Shock. I think red-green is where I'm going to be. Huh. Alright. Well, I could take a Glint Weaver, or its brother, a Glint Weaver.
Yeah.
Makes a big spider. This card's really amazing, but I'm not in blue. Bite Down on Crime, which is a removal spell. I think I'm going to take the Bite Down on Crime, probably. Well, these guys are pretty good. I'll take a big spider.
Yeah, I like the reach, and then if you can pump them up, you know.
There we go. We got a red-green rare. Deal X damage to any target. Put X lands from your hand and or graveyard from the battlefield tapped. So I'm just going to take the rare for red and green. I think this guy I'm not. Yeah, pretty straightforward pick there. Alright. So 7 mana is a lot, so you don't really want to have many things that cost that much mana because you'll never get to play them. So my choices here, I've got a couple of good options. I got this 2 mana guy. Doesn't look like much, but he fills out the mana curve, as they say, to play a cheap card and lets you do a little surveil. But this is a disguise creature that you can play that's automatically in your deck also. So thinking it's between those. I kind of like the disguise creature. Alright. This one's a pretty easy one. I'm just going to take one of these Topiary Panthers. They're big, they have trample, and they can basic land cycle. So if I do end up getting a card that from another color that I really want to play, I can search for that color, or just a cheap way to do that. I really like this Offender at Large too, but I'm going to take the Panther. You see my deck is mostly green, so this is really a perfect pick for me, because it's +1/+1 for each forest you control. I'm going to have a lot of those, and it's got Disguise, and when you turn it face up you get some forests, put one on the battlefield, one in your hand. So it's just a perfect card for the deck that I'm doing right now.
Yeah, nice.
Alright. Oh, this card's pretty good to be there still that late. I'm gonna just take Offender at Large. I can play it. I'm trying to just stick to red-green, so I think I'm just gonna take the big giant. It's got Disguise. I can turn it face up to pump a creature. Just solid.
Oh. Now we're getting to the end.
Now we're getting to the end of this one. They Went This Way could be a card I play in my deck. Probably not playing any of the other cards, so I will put that over there for now. Okay. Well, this guy he's a disguised creature that turns out to be pretty big sometimes. So these are all blue cards, so I'll take the rare. I'm gonna take this card just in case. I might play it because it's a really powerful card. All right. Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Wow. All right. So when I first looked at this pack, I was like, look at these rares. I have a red rare, which is really good. 4/4 flying trample with flavor text. So it's 4/4
Yeah.
flying trample for 4 mana. But then I've got this
The legendary.
Yaris, Roar of the Old Gods. It gives other creatures I control haste.
Wow.
When one or more face down creatures, so that's the disguise ones, deal combat damage to a player, I draw a card. And then when a face down creature I control dies, it comes back into play as a permanent, face up. So all of these things that I have, these lumbering laundry, this crowd control, this offender at large, all of those things are going to just come, and this flourishing bond can come back into play for free. That's like the perfect card for what I'm drafting. All right, and we're just going to keep the hits going. So it's another good disguised creature. Costs a lot of mana to flip it, but can be really devastating when you do. So I really need to find some more of these tunnel tipsters for this deck. My goodness. Alright. So I've got Krenko, which is a very powerful card. That I might just take.
Oh, you have to
I don't really have
an
much artifact stuff to go with it.
Yeah.
But it's still a 3-mana 3/3 haste. One thing to notice in there is whenever any artifact's been in a graveyard, I can pay a red. So it's when my opponent does it too.
Oh, okay. So if you're facing an artifact deck, then that helps.
Okay. Well, where one's good, two's got to be better, right? Crazy. All right. So I gotta look at here. I really need some more of those. Galvanize is something that I could really use as a way to kill things, so I think I'm
more
gonna
direct
take
damage
that.
kind of thing.
Yeah, direct damage, kill something.
Always good. The old classic was Lightning Bolt.
Yeah. Oh, the classic. Lightning Bolt's too good to be printed nowadays.
Right.
All right. Well, I'm not gonna really play any of these cards because there's a lot of black cards here that I'm not playing. Could play the Shady Informant maybe, but I'm just gonna take the. I'll just take the Assassin's Trophy just because. All right.
Another offender.
How many creatures do I have? A lot. Okay. I think I'm gonna take hard-hitting question because it's another cheap removal type card. One of my creatures does its power and damage to a creature for 1 mana.
Oh, that's nice.
That could be pretty good.
Is that something you could use after you've already pumped them up, right?
Yeah. Guess I'll take this Branch of Itugazi. It can be a land in my deck, or I could, and then I can disguise it to make it a creature. So it gives it a little more versatility. Alright. This is a good card to come around the table. Just deal 3 damage to something. It's a good card. Alright, well, I'm not seeing any of that tunnel tipster I saw in the first round coming through, which is unfortunate for me. But
yeah.
Concealed Weapon's a good card I could play. The laundry. Alright. So big creatures, I have lots of those.
Mm-hmm.
Big creatures are big.
A little bit of damage.
So now we're gonna build my deck here. So one thing I like to do to start with building a deck is put the stuff in the positions of how much mana they cost. So right now, this is the cards that I have that I'm not playing in my deck for sure. I kind of put them in, this is called the sideboard. This is the creatures that are in my deck, or cards that are in my deck. So when you're building a deck that's for in draft, you want it to have a good number of creatures and spells, especially with red and green. Your deck should be creature heavy, because I mean you're playing green, so green is a creature color. So I can click here to look at more details and see. Right now I've got 18 creatures and 9 non-creatures in my deck. So I'm going to go back to my deck here, what I have. So I'm going to pull these things into the mana cost. So remember, these guys have disguise, so they're going to go into the 3 slot here. So it makes it look a lot better as far as mana-wise. Um, this will probably be here too. So with this Goblin Mask Maker, I was debating on playing this thing, but when you think about it, and when it attacks, it gives my face down cards, makes them one cheaper to put down. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 face down cards.
Yeah.
I don't think that's enough. I'm gonna cut that card.
Okay.
Not enough. Can't really get rid of any of these 2 mana cards. So I'm looking at. So I want to go down to 40 cards because you always want to try and play 40 cards when you can, because when your deck has less cards, you're more likely to draw your good cards. So like if I played extra cards, I'm not going to draw my Axebane Feroxes or my Yaris or my Ansreg. I'm going to draw. I could draw any of the other cards, right? So if I'm playing 40, I have more of a chance to draw them. Let's go down to. So I'm just kind of thinking now what I want to take out. So this guy probably can get cut. Injuries maybe. Kind of like having those though. I'm gonna cut the. Oh. So I just made some cuts to try and get the deck ready here. I want to try and keep the face down the creatures with disguise because of how well they work with Yaris.
Mm-hmm.
I want to keep the case, this one, because it's just powerful. This is powerful. Krenko with just a 3/3 haste is really all it's going to do, but that can be really good.
Mm-hmm.
Just because look at it, this guy's got haste, these guys got haste. This makes everything have haste, and having big things have haste can be pretty scary. So, I don't need any planes. I don't know why it suggested that I have planes. So
I think, yeah, you had to.
it's because I have this card. But I think I'm gonna put all forests in. It's one cool thing when you look at here, you can see the comparison on colors. So I have 10 red and 14 green. So 7 red enough. I think so. I want to have more green because of this flourishing bloomkin. Although, if I play it face down, I could just get forests. Maybe I do. 8. Oop. Just because I have this double red card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to make sure that goes out.
I got 2 double greens too, but I got the tunnel tipster. Yeah, I think this is gonna be what we stick with. All right, so here's our deck.
Nice.
So let's see how it rolls.